Hi boys and girls, today we are going to set a goal to use our planning sheets to draft our personal narratives. So when we're drafting our personal narrative, it means we're actually going to start writing it. Now a draft doesn't have to have proper spelling or perfect punctuation. We're just trying to get all of our sentences down on paper. So one thing that you need to know about your personal narrative is that it should be written in paragraphs. Now you can see on my example below that there is a title up in the middle, and then you can see that there's a lot of words. This first section has an indentation. That tells me that there is a new paragraph. You can see one indentation there, one in the middle, and one at the end. We are going to write 3 paragraphs when we write our personal narrative. Now, this isn't going to be too tricky because you have completed your planning sheet if you're at this stage. Now, your planning sheet looked something like this, and there were 3 sections. There was a beginning. Let me point to it. I'll make it pink. There was a beginning. There was a middle, and there was an end. So when we write our personal narrative, we are obviously going to start at the beginning. So that's this information from your plan. Look where I just drew the pink circle. Now, all of the information from that plan would go in the first paragraph. This isn't the same story, so you're not going to see that they're the same, but you would be writing about your same story. So when you first write your first paragraph, your beginning paragraph, you're writing about the stuff you mentioned in the beginning of your plan. Now, you'll need to indent. Obviously, you'll need more than just 4 sentences. You'll need some description. This example says, beep, beep, beep. I rolled over and turned off my alarm clock slowly. Suddenly, my sister Adrian ran into my room. She told me that my parents were downstairs and said that we could go down in 2 minutes. I jumped out of bed and put my warm slippers on. Then Adrian and I sat at the top of our stairs and waited. We had big smiles on our faces because it was Christmas morning and our breakfast was almost ready. The rule in our house was breakfast first and presents second. So that's my beginning of my story. I introduced the characters. So I introduced Adrian and obviously me, and then she also mentioned my parents, right? So my parents with the characters. I gave indication of where we were because I was in my bed. I was in my room, so I must be at home. And I said when it was. It was Christmas morning, so I gave some of the setting. I also set up the story so that people knew what I was talking about. This story is clearly going to be about celebrating Christmas morning in our house. So, beginning paragraph is what you are going to do today. You're going to get a pink piece of paper that looks like this. On your pink piece of paper, you should have it right now. I would like you to write this at the top, P1, because it's paragraph 1. And we are going to call it the beginning. This is paragraph 1. We're only writing the stuff that happened in the beginning that you have on your plan sheet. You could add a little bit more detail, but you're not going to go on to the middle or the things that you put for the end. So I'm going to, again, insert my planning sheet. I'm going to crop it so that I only see that beginning part, and I'll make it bigger, because I'm going to need this as I write. Now, if you don't have P1 beginning at the top, pause the video until you do. The next thing you'll need to do is we're going to put an X on every other line. So I'm going to leave the top one and I'm going to draw a line indent, okay? To indent, you don't really need to draw the line, but it will help you remember. But the line afterwards, we'll put an X, then we'll keep a line, drawing an X on every other line. We're not going to write on the lines that have X's. X means don't write here. Okay, I'm going to stop there because I have my picture in the way. So you should have right now P1 beginning, draw your arrow to remind you to indent, and then every other line have an X. Pause the video until yours looks like this. Good. Make sure you also put your initials in the corner just in case this paper gets lost, and maybe your number, your class number. Okay, so when you're writing your introduction, you want a hook of some sort. Now, a hook is going to have to hook your reader, meaning it's got to be interesting. It can't be something boring like, do you want to hear about the time I got a new dog? Because that's not really that thrilling, okay, when you ask me like that. Or, have you ever been to Disney World before? My guess is that you're going to tell me that you're going to Disney World. Make it a little bit more interesting. Some interesting hooks could be questions, as long as it's questioned in a way that's interesting, not like, do you like baking cookies with your mom? I do. This story is about baking cookies. No way. If you said something like, have you ever thought about what it would feel like to be lost? That could be a good one. Or, do you know why puppies are called man's best friend? That could be another good one. Another way you could start a story is with an exclamation. So something exciting like wahoo or whoa or stop, right? Something that's exciting that's happening, or bang or bam or beep. Okay, any of those could work too. The third type, so we have question, we have an exclamation. The third type is to start with a description, okay? A description of your setting, but it has to be very, very detailed. It can't just be we were sitting in my mom's kitchen. No, it would need to say something like the sun was shining bright and the trees were blowing in the wind, the birds were chirping, and my little brother had a smile on his face that was as big as the sun. Something like that, where you're giving a lot of detail. If I'm looking at my story, I see that number 1 on my list, look below, I'm going to highlight it, is family arrives at campground. So I could start with a question, I could start with an exclamation or a description. I might start this with an exclamation because I was super excited to get there. So right next to my arrow, I could write something like this. Wahoo! Then I need to say something about how we arrived at the campground. My sister maybe I'll say her name. My sister, Adrian, and, I'm not going to write on the X, so I'm going to go down another line. Woohoo! My sister Adrian and I smiled as we pulled into our campground. All right, so I said that we are pulling into the campground. Now, I've introduced Adrian, but I am on vacation with 2 more people. I'm with my mom and my dad, and I might want to say something about the campground being in Michigan. So I'm going to consider that as I write my next line. So, woohoo, my sister Adrian and I smiled as we pulled into our campground. My mom and dad got out of the car and helped us out. And helped us out too. Period. Maybe I say something like Michigan, so that my readers know where I am, has some pretty campsites. And this one was beautiful. So they know where I am, they know who I'm with, Now I need to start looking at some of the other things from my beginning. Did I talk about family arriving at campground? Yes. Did I talk about my parents putting up a tent yet? No. So that's what I need to write about next. Am I going to write parents put up tent? No, that's boring. I need to actually explain it in a sentence. So maybe I say this. Quickly, my parents got out the tent bag and told my sister and I to go play while they set it up. Notice I am skipping lines. All right, I put parents put up tent. Good. AD and I exploring on scooters. Did I do that yet? Nope. So I need to still do that. I'm moving this up because I need some more room. So I need to fix my X's. There we are. So let me reread. Quickly, my parents got out of the tent, got the tent bag out, and told my sister and I to go play while they set it up. I need to say Adrian and I wanted to go explore on our scooters. Adrian and I left to go explore on our scooters. Period. I did it. Last one says found cool loops to scooter on. So maybe I say something like, this was our first time there. So, or I don't like that. Maybe I say, this was our first time there, and we found many cool loops to ride on. We were having, if you run out of room like this, you just go on the back of your paper. We were having a blast. Do I have anything else that I need to write about? Did I do all four? Yes, I did. So I'm done with my beginning. That's where I'm going to stop. That is my entire beginning. If I want to write more, it would be for the middle, and it will be on another sheet of paper. Right now, your job is to use the beginning of your plan to now write the beginning paragraph of your personal narrative. Good luck.